Hello，大家好，歡迎嚟到天下知多啲。10點鐘，洛杉磯時間晚上10點。今日係8月29號啦。咁今日就好希望大家咧，即係唔知道今日會唔會多人啊？因為咧 long weekend 有可能啲人已經準備咧要出去玩嗰啲咁嘅嘢咯。咁唔知道今日會唔會多人啊？咁 anyway 啦。祝大家有個嗰個 Happy Labor Day 如果你唔喺度，你翻嚟睇翻wish you a Happy Labor Day。咁照常咧，又係要等下啲人入嚟啦，因為YouTube 都冇咁快即刻可以將條片即係 send 出去嘅，send notification 俾人啦。今日呢個主角咧就係佢哋噶啦，即係揭露受薪示威者啊。咁NTA 又做咗個訪問啦，呢個 Late Fryman 啦。咁呢個阿伯係癲㗎啦，陣間又會睇到㗎啦，陣間又會睇到呢個伯點樣咁癲㗎啦。咁希望咧，咁大家幫手分享留言點讚，好多謝啦。咁亦都一樣啦，照例咧，我講咗就要做得到㗎嘛。等個即係我講咗，即係講得出就要做得到。雖然咧係即係自己係嗰個能力都未必可以達到啦，咁但係都要做啊。我覺得啦，因為呢個對誠信係好有關係嘅。咁呢度上邊我講咗啦，每100訂閱就送驚喜，唔係1000每1000嘅訂閱咧，我就要送驚喜。我都唔知道咧，原來咧呢個咧可以咁快俾我咁多個訂閱嘅。我以為你即係過去嘅經驗啦，一路都冇乜訂閱嘅，咁好難攞到訂閱。咁突然之間咧，我就用咗即係咁啱得咁巧啦，神推鬼拱啦，感謝天父係嘛？咁將我咧就用咗英文方式去表達，即係播啲咁嘅播片啦咁樣，跟住之後咧就好多訂閱，好多人嚟睇，即係好多留言。咁我話我好開心啦，當然咁亦都出乎我意料之外咧，咁快咧已經即係好似2個禮拜前，我先捐咗100蚊俾 Union Love 嗰個即係青少年兒童智障嗰個組織咧咁咧我真係少淆底嘅，唔好話，因為咧因為真係知道，因為我真係窮光蛋一名嚟噶嘛。咁咧，但係咧，哇！我見到哇1949啦已經，仲有51個就到2000啦，即係未試過啦，即係有少少矛盾嘅。其實都唔係嘅，應該要好感恩嘅，好感恩嘅應該，就因為咧可以咁快升到咁多訂閱但係咧訂閱同啲 view 數同收入咧係唔成正比嘅，就唔好以為我哇攞咁多 view 數Dennis 一定發達啦。咁我梗係想發達啦我其實好想好多人都發達嘅，OK？ 發達咧喺地上咧係一個祝福嚟嘅你發咗達點樣去用啲錢咧，先至係問題，OK？ 將個祝福即係做喺啲咒助人嘅地方咧，咁就唔得咯譬如即係害人嘅嘢就唔得咯。但係如果我發咗達，跟住我去做翻一啲幫人嘅嘢咧，我相信咧上帝咧係唔會嬲嘅，所以咧我就冇所謂嘅。所以我覺得最緊要做基督徒咧，一定要做個發達嘅基督徒唔好做到個坎坷嘅基督徒咯。咁我而家嘅坎坷咧，就係以前積落嚟嘅，即係好多嘢要經歷要經驗噶嘛，就唔係一朝一夕馬上就可以達成嘅一樣嘢嚟嘅。咁好需要咧即係亦都俾好多朋友啦，好似即係每個人都一樣噶啦，每一個人咧人生不如意嘅事咧， 就十常八九噶啦。OK， 人生喺呢個世界咧就係唔會事事順利，話俾你知，事事順利嗰條友咧就係有問題嘅嚇。因為 complain 事事唔順利嗰條友咧又係有問題。OK 嚇，人生就咁噶啦嘛嚇。開心有時候唔開心，當你唔開心嗰陣時咧，就去諗下啲開心嘢；當你好開心嗰陣時咧，你要記住啲唔開心嘢。我老豆成日同我講，不過我老豆好負面嘅，佢成日同我講，喂，要安居思危啊咁嚇。佢仲有個我老豆寫中文毛筆字嘅，好即係都係啲高手嚟㗎啦。OK， 咁咧佢就成日特登寫咗張放喺我間房度。嗰陣細個安居思危，我覺得好 negative 嘅。嗰陣時聽安居思危我都未安過，點係嘛？日日都喺危裏邊咁點就係咁啦咁咧，好需要大家嚟留言點讚啦，已經有82個，100個收睇緊嘅希望你哋係講廣東話。雖然咧而家陣間啲片咧就係講英文嘅，咁但係咧就設有中文字幕，就希望咧就係叫做幫助大家去睇啦。即係如果你英文未係咁好嘅，咁咪有啲字幕幫補下啦咁樣。咁呢個字幕咧都係 supply， 即係係YouTube 提供嘅咁樣咯。咁好即係都叫做今時今日有呢啲咁嘅科技幫助咧，咁令到小弟咧亦都可以將呢樣做 YouTuber 嘅機會率做一個成功嘅 YouTuber 嘅機會率提高咗咯。如果唔係咧，就下呢仲幾個鐘頭咧，淨係寫啲翻譯都寫死我啦，係咪先？咁好多謝，咁有100個人入嚟啦，我哋開始收睇啲點樣啲睇人啲收錢示威者。
When protesters come with a paycheck, who's really speaking? This isn't just an isolated case. Independent journalist Nate Friedman has been investigating a growing trend in major U.S. cities, including New York and Washington, D.C. We spoke with him to dig into who's behind these paid protesters and what's really at stake. It seems lately more and more in the headlines are protests over all sorts of issues, but are these organic or are they paid for? Well, we have with us a very special guest. He's an independent journalist who's found out these are paid protesters. So, Nate Friedman, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So, talk to us about, how you found out a lot of these are paid protesters. Did you go in there knowing this, or did you find this out organically?
No, I found it out organically, actually. So there was a big Tesla takedown protest in downtown New York City, and I was struck by how Elon was loved by the left prior to Trump winning. And I saw things switch on a dime, and not just against him, but calling him a Nazi. And as a Jew who had family who've died in the Holocaust, I took that to heart. So I wanted to know what was really going on. So when I went there, I immediately was confronted by a woman who had a troll sign and just followed me. So she looked to have a picture of me on her phone as one of the people sort of that they have to ensure that can't ask questions there, which is pretty crazy. And then I was trying to do any kind of interviews I could, and more protesters would come in with big right-wing troll arrows, and they would have teammates that would beg the person that I'm trying to interview to not do the interview. So that's when I realized, okay, this is not organic.
Wow. So you were just going through, going up to people being like, hey, why are you here? And people were, first off, they had a photo of you. So they knew who you were.
Yeah, they knew who I was. They were taking more photos to intimidate me, but she knew who I was right when I walked in.
That is crazy. Well, often it's been said to follow the money. So in this case, I assume you followed the money. Where did the money lead?
Sure. So for this particular protest, it was funded by Rise and Resist, which is funded by George Soros. And you can see that they take money through Act Blue. Act Blue is the Democrat fundraising platform. So People's Forum, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but also has to do with with Rise and Resist, because People's Forum is also funding Rise and Resist as well. So, yeah.
That's a lot. Speaking of People's Forum, I know you've spoken to someone named David Chung a couple times. Speaking might be a bit generous since you were saying no comment, but we actually have a clip of you trying to speak to him. So let's actually roll that now, and then we'll have you comment.
Of course.
Yo, what's up, David? See you again, man. You want to
want to talk at all about the last video? No, I'm good. What did you think of it?
No comment.
Did I get anything wrong?
No comment.
You got no comment? Bro, they're paying you $80K a year to protest? Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Tell me if it's wrong.
No comment.
Do you think that, what's that? You gonna stop him from interviewing me? What do you want to prevent him to say?
Getting ready to march.
Right, so there's a couple different times you ran into him. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of money thrown around, the group he's with, but break down for us a bit. Who is he? What group is he with? And, why were you trying to talk to him?
So how I met David Chung was I was trying to speak to a protester who had a large flag that said, Allah is the only God. And I wanted to just have a conversation with him. This was after Trump struck Iran, and I wanted to know what was going on. So David Chung immediately comes over to prevent the interview. I didn't know who David was at the time, but he said, we're getting ready to march, which is blatantly saying that he's organizing everything. So looking into David, I saw that on the 990 forums of the People's Forum, he is getting paid $75,000 a year to protest. I asked him about $80K, hoping that he might correct me and say, no, it's actually $75K a year to protest, but I gave him a chance to speak his mind about it, but he refused.
That is insane. So $75,000 to protest.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
So he's with something called the People's Forum. Where is that kind of money coming from? Who's funding People's Forum?
Yeah, so Roy Neville Singham, who is a billionaire Marxist, which obviously, yeah, it's hard to believe, but yes, he sold his IT consulting firm to a private equity firm for $775 million, $785 million. And they had firms in China when he sold it to them, so there could be something there. Anyway, he's given over $20 million to the People's Forum through something called a donor advised fund, which is when you don't want people to know where the money's coming from, you put it through what was called the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund. So it's not traced back to Roy Neville Singham. However, investigations absolutely revealed that it was. And then later on, People's Forum said, we'd like to thank our comrade, Roy Neville Singham, for supporting us. So, yeah.
They even use that language, comrade.
Yeah.
Insane. So Roy Neville Singham, there's a lot of reports about him, quite controversial, right? Ties to China, as you mentioned. Marxist billionaire, so the ideology of supporting socialism or eventually communism, but with a lot of money to actually produce change, if you will, in that direction. So what is his goal with funding all of this protest?
Yeah, so you can see that at the People's Forum, they have a bookstore in downtown New York, and you can see that they've actually doing classes on Marxism and socialism, and they have a lot of young people that come in to learn about it, and they put a very positive spin on Marxism and socialism that historically has never worked. But young people come in through their hatred of Zionism, so they use Zionism as a springboard to get them into socialism and Marxism. So it's an effective way to do things, actually.
I want to dig into that a bit because we actually have another clip of you trying to talk to another protest, and then someone blocks that. So let's get into that and then see what's happening over there.
Muhammad. Hey man, how you been, buddy?
Hey.
Good to see you.
Oh, you took me last time interview,
Yeah,
right?
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
So that's really interesting because, again, it's that same line. We're about to march.
Right.
That
Yeah,
David
exactly.
was saying.
Yeah, it's very scripted. Yeah. So she's taken photos with the PSL, like as an advertisement for the Party of Socialism and Liberation, who the shooter of the DC embassy couple, the beautiful couple who was killed in DC, was killed by Elias Rodriguez, who was actually once was part of the Chicago chapter of the PSL. The PSL is funded by the People's Forum. Now, the PSL stands with North Korea. They stand for open borders and abolishing the police and ICE. So you can see that through this hatred of Zionism, they're able to get people on board with radical policies such as open borders and getting rid of the police.
I do want to dig into this because it's like, often in the news, everyone's like, oh, First Amendment rights, of course, people should be expressing what they feel. But in terms of D.C., there's been a lot of protests in the nation's capital since Trump 2.0. And there's actually a crowd rental company. It's called Crowds on Demand. And it was telling Fox D.C. that inquiries to basically rent a crowd are up 400% compared to last year. And they're saying that the vast majority of people in these protests in our nation's capital are getting paid. So these aren't just the voice of the people, right, actually trying to rise up in the streets What have you seen in terms of that? Obviously not in D.C., but in New York.
Yeah, so the truth is a lot of these protesters are not paid, but the organizers are paid. A lot of them are paid, but it doesn't mean that every single one is paid. There's thousands of protesters in New York City blocking the streets. But if we look at Victoria, for example, so the one who blocked my interview, so her working with the PSL, she came from Canada. So I think that maybe it's time to look at who we're bringing into this country and if they love our country, because maybe we should only bring in people into our country if they love our values.
We do see that this administration is trying to do a vetting process or the merit-based system, right? There's a couple of different questions, including morals, to your point. Now, in terms of, a broader picture here with Singham, there's some questionable ties perhaps to China. We know he is Marxist sympathizing in that direction. Where do you see kind of communist China fitting in here, or does China fit in here?
Yeah, well, China's very, very difficult to see what they're doing. They're very good at hiding what their strategies are. But I can only say what I've seen firsthand, which is that this bookstore is teaching kids, young kids, whatever, 18, 19 years old, about socialism being a good thing. I mean, communism being a good thing. If we look at, a wise man once told me that if you want to see if communism works, socialism works, just look at the satellite view of South Korea and North Korea at night, and there's your answer. So, wish they would do that in those classes.
That's a good point. I want to continue that a bit because, lately our institutions of higher education have been in the news a lot for anti-Semitism, blatant, all these protests, uprisings, if you will, that you see on campus, to the point that there's more reports now suggesting that these are actually indoctrination centers, similar to, teaching kids about Marxism. Have you seen stuff like that on college campuses, or suggesting that perhaps our institutions of higher education are more leaning towards indoctrination?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just colleges. The frightening thing is that it's happening to kids that are much, much younger. For example, I exposed a paid protester who teaches gender expansive youth, like 11-year-olds. So this is sick behavior, and it's tax funded as well. She's funded by New York City taxpayers, and there's also a Sadie Leadership scholarship that she's working with over the summer. So they're teaching these kids over the summer about gender ideology. So this is not just about colleges, it's going into elementary and middle school as well.
And given all this, right, the young kids, the colleges, the protests in the streets, what is the end goal here? Is there an end goal with all of this?
I think it's to destroy the West. I think it's to destroy everything that America stands for.
And given that, right, what have you seen in terms of, crackdown, enforcement? Are you seeing more awareness on what's happening?
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, some protester tried to attack me the other day, and there were a lot of police there, but I was told to not antagonize him, but I was not even talking to him. I was actually doing another interview. So I think that police are not exactly sure what to do with these protests because they're gotten so large. But so many of them are doing such good work. Like the NYPD is doing incredible work to actually make sure these things don't get out of control. But when they get out of control, it's very tough to deal with.
I do know in terms of the money trails, we've seen the new FBI Director, Kash Patel, saying that the FBI at least will be pursuing all the trails, connections to the money that's behind some of these protests, where it leads perhaps to China. Do you think more administration or offices in the administration will follow up on trying to find where that money is? And to your point, maybe even into immigration, who's coming over the borders?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the administration has done an impeccable job at this, and it's not just the administration, but Congress as well, because they have a House Oversight Committee that's looking into Singham. So real action looks to be being taken. So we're just going to have to wait and see, but these are all recent developments after Trump got into office, yeah.
And given all your experiences at protests, say someone who's on the street, maybe they're curious about what's happening at a protest. What's your advice to them? Like, what should they look out for to see if it is A, an organic protest, and B, if it turns violent, as it does in some cases? What's your advice to these people to stay safe?
Yeah, so be next to the police if you really feel like it's about to get very violent. The police are good, just stay next to them. And if you want to see whether, it's very organic, not very organic, look at the speakers, look at the huge signs with the organization's name on them. These signs are printed, it's organized. So that's what I would look for, the gigantic signs and the long line of speakers that they've booked for their protest.
Reports the BLM protests where you just see pallets of bricks that showed up, or very fancy signs, if you will.
Even in
that
LA, they
wouldn't
brought riot
be-
masks and whatnot.
It's not,
yeah.
These aren't cardboard signs, right? These took more than one night to make, for instance. I saw some jokes online where they're like the only ones who benefit are the ones selling the flags, because every day there's a new protest and who's buying the flags? Well, but with all the different areas covered today, any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, I would just ask that people really wake up to what's going on. Over 20 protests, and just to look and see that these people are being paid, but a lot of these folks are getting indoctrinated through colleges, through things like the People's Forum, and to understand that Mamdani looks to be getting elected, and that means that young people are pro-socialism. Socialism has never worked, so it's time to wake up.
All right, well, Nate Friedman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Take it easy. Take it easy. You're so smart. Take it easy. Good to see you.
This is the largest anti-West rally I've seen since October 7th. Thousands flooded the streets of New York City, blocking traffic and waving flags to celebrate a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist killed in Gaza. For millions around the world, that's where this story ends. A journalist tragically killed by the IDF in Gaza. But here's what they're leaving out. On October 7th, as Hamas fighters and Gazan civilians stormed across Israel, murdering and kidnapping civilians, that same journalist, Anas al-Sharif, posted this: 9 hours and the heroes are still roaming the country, killing and capturing. Allah, Allah, how great you are. He glorified the massacre, and Anas loved Hamas. Here he is posing with Hamas leaders. So I went to this protest in pursuit of the truth, and as I was standing there, I noticed a woman walking toward the rally in a Jewish Voices for Peace shirt. As a Jew, I've been struck by how many Jews in America openly despise their own homeland, so I asked her for an interview. What followed was one of the most insane conversations I've ever had, and it reveals just how deeply under attack the West really is. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show. Can you tell me about what JVP is?
JVP is an organization that has existed for at least 15 years, and it's an anti-Zionist Jewish organization.
Okay, and I've heard from some Jews here in New York that believe that JVP is anti-Semitic, even though they are Jewish. They feel that they're anti-Semitic. What is your response to that?
My response is that sort of is a conflation between being Jewish and being support the state of Israel as a Jewish state.
Yeah. Do you feel that Israel is necessary for the security of Jews worldwide?
I do not.
Okay, and why is that? That's very interesting.
Well, I'm a child of the Holocaust. My parents my father was in Auschwitz and my mother was in Theresienstadt the whole war.
Your father survived Auschwitz?
Yes, he did.
It's incredible.
Because I don't believe that anybody can get security in an ethno-nationalist state.
Okay.
I believe that Jews' security is living in a multi-ethnic, multicultural, diverse
What do you say to those,
political state.
Okay, what do you say to those Jews that say that Israel was created because of the Holocaust, for a safe place for them to go? Do you believe that Israel was created for the wrong reasons?
I don't believe Israel was created because of the Holocaust. I think Israel was a movement. There was a Zionist movement, and it was a contradictory Zionist movement. There were labor Zionists, there were socialist Zionists, there were all sorts of different Zionists that were at the end of the 19th century.
Yeah.
And Israel got world recognition because of the Holocaust. And I would argue that even the Balfour Agreement in 1917 was a function of anti-Semitism. Yeah. I think the British saw Israel as their solution to the Jewish problem.
Yeah. Calling the Balfour Declaration anti-Semitic and Britain's way of dealing with the Jewish problem is historically illiterate. It was the first time a major world power backed a Jewish national home in the land of Israel. Now, Britain didn't deport its Jews. The Jewish population in Britain stayed steady. What the declaration did do was give Jews who were being beaten, driven from their homes, and murdered in Eastern Europe an actual home to go to, thanks to Britain. Now compare that to how other countries dealt with the Jewish problem.
Are you supporting Mamdani or Cuomo or Adams?
I actually now live in New Jersey, but I support Mamdani, but not necessarily because of his policies on Israel. I think he's just a principled person.
Yeah, he's got good ideas.
And he brings his political stances on issues beyond the state of Palestine, state of Palestine or Israel. I agree with. I personally am one of these people who, in 1980, helped found DSA. It was
Democrat Socialists of America.
They were known as Democrat Socialist Organizing Committee.
Yeah.
That shows you my age. So my support for Mamdani and other Democrats who speak their mind and are principled will get my support.
Her supporting Mamdani wasn't exactly a surprise to me, but her mentioning that she played a large role in starting the DSA was very interesting. So the DSA, or Democrat Socialists of America, is the largest socialist group in the country. They want to defund the police, have open borders, and hosted a rally in support of Hamas a day after October 7th. Now, the funny thing about the DSA is they actually rescinded their endorsement of AOC. Now, why would a socialist organization rescind their endorsement for the most high-profile socialist in the country? Well, because she isn't anti-Israel enough. AOC doesn't want to defund the Iron Dome, and that was enough for DSA to cut her off. Before getting kicked out, AOC was actually the first female congresswoman to join the org. Now that's what you call eating your own. Now fast forward to today, and Mamdani is the face of the DSA. The DSA mobilized tens of thousands of people to canvass for the socialist candidate. Many don't know this, but Mamdani was actually arrested twice before advocating for DSA. He blocked the road outside Chuck Schumer's office on October 13th alongside Jewish Voices for Peace. 2 years before that, he was arrested at a protest about extending the eviction moratorium. When this guy talks about the policies he'll institute, believe what he says.
Yeah, and are you my goal as a Jew is to try to bring us together. I know some Jews are worried that Mamdani will not condemn the phrase globalize the Intifada and believes that Israel is not a country, and they're worried about that combination of ideas, that they won't be safe. What do you say to that?
I say that that statement has assumptions of what he believes. I don't think he doesn't believe that Israel is a state.
Israel is not a place, it is not a country, it's an idea.
Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the Intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights.
I think he's made it very clear that Israel is a state. It just should be it should not be a Jewish state that is exclusively it's exclusively an ethno-nationalist state.
Yeah.
No one on my answer to what? So that was your issue about Mandami about the state.
No, not mine. It was just that.
No, I understand
yeah.
the global intifada.
Yeah.
I think people are.
That it references the suicide bombings and the car bombings.
Well, yes, it could. It does not necessarily mean that.
It could mean suicide bombings and car bombings. Yeah, and in practice, that's exactly what it became. The word intifada has been hollowed out by people like her, who hide behind its neat translation of shake off or uprising. But you lose that luxury of semantics when the so-called intifadas have left over 1,000 innocent Israelis murdered, blown up on buses, stabbed in the streets, and massacred in the markets. Take the Dolphin Area massacre, when a Hamas suicide bomber walked up to a crowd of young people waiting outside a Tel Aviv nightclub and blew himself up, murdering 21 young Israelis in cold blood. 16 of them were just teenagers waiting to dance on a Friday night. That wasn't an uprising, that was the deliberate slaughter of innocent civilians. And there were countless attacks just like it, all carried out in the name of intifada. So when you say the word casually today, you're not invoking some noble struggle, you're whitewashing a campaign of terror against civilians.
Quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
Intifada does not mean that. And globalizing the intifada for many people just means liberating people.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean. And yes, unfortunately, peace has never worked in the Middle East. And there's been a history of different forms of resistance.
Yeah.
And peaceful resistance has always been met with killing by the Israeli state as well.
Yeah.
Was it peaceful resistance when in 1974 Palestinian terrorists stormed a school in Ma'alot, taking over 100 children hostage and murdering 22 of them? Was it peaceful resistance when in 2002 a Hamas suicide bomber walked into a Passover Seder at a hotel in Netanya and murdered 30 people at the dinner table? And was it peaceful resistance on October 7th when Hamas massacred 1,200 Israelis, raping women, beheading civilians, and burning families alive in their own homes? As we continue this conversation, you will thoroughly understand how it was possible that Jews supported Hitler in the 1930s. I am going to expose to you who she really is, but first, did you see that Trump might send the military next into Baltimore in order to clean up the crime there too? When I went to DC for inauguration, part of why I loved it was because it felt very safe. The last time I was in DC, not so much. The left-wing media is calling Trump's potential move into Baltimore an authoritarian overreach and said he's manufacturing a crisis, while the right is calling Baltimore a crime-ridden disaster and praised Trump for being ready to send in the National Guard. That is proof that you can be reading about the exact same story as someone else in this country but feel like you're getting completely different news. And that's why before going out to film, it's crucial I understand what both sides are thinking so I can ask great questions. The easiest way for me to do that is to read Ground News. It's an app and website where they aggregate the news so I don't have to click on each individual site to see what's really going on. If you want to see how that person in your life sees news the opposite way that you do, then the Ground News blind spot feed will do just that. It doesn't just show you what's trending, it exposes what each side is choosing not to cover. If you want to continue staying informed about what's happening around the world and how different people are reacting to it, then check out Ground News. It's one of the best ways you can support this channel, and there's such a perfect match for us that you can get 40% off the same plan that I personally use, which is the Vantage plan. Just head down to ground.news/Friedman or scan the QR code to help us cover the security costs, which were much needed for this video, and experience the news from a whole new perspective.
Do you feel like Israel is the problem that there is not peace in the Middle East? Do you think it's because of Israel?
I think that's a broad question. I think at different times the answer could be differently.
Yeah, I mean right now, correct.
At this moment, yes, Israel is a hegemon supported by the United States, and I would argue that we, after the Suez Canal, made a political decision to support Israel and build it up as a military power, to be our arm and control in the Mideast.
That makes sense.
And I do believe that Israel now is the aggressor and has been and has committed enormous human rights violations and has made it impossible for the Palestinians to live.
How would you have preferred Israel respond to October 7th?
my preference or what is there are two realities.
What would you have preferred? No.
Preferred would be that they would start questioning themselves as to what they have done in terms of occupying Gaza and what they've been doing on the West Bank.
Yeah.
You just have to understand I'm someone who lived in Israel in 1983, worked on something called Project Renewal, which was Begin's thank you to his Arabic community that had been marginalized for 20 years. And I also was on the West Bank about 3 years ago.
Wow.
But that's unrealistic. What would have been more realistic is they would have done their normal retaliation, would have lasted 2 weeks, and then gone back to a peace and started thinking through.
So you just wanted it to be like quicker, like for them to not drag.
Well, it's not just quicker. I mean, any state that feels that it's attacked is going to respond.
Right.
But the whole framework, the framework of Hamas being a terrorist organization and therefore has to be eradicated when I'm somebody who believes that the state of Israel is a state terrorist organization.
Okay. So do you believe that Hamas is a terrorist organization or not?
I believe that Hamas practiced terrorism and committed human rights violations on October 7th.
But you don't believe that they're a terrorist group?
I think that framework is the wrong framework. I mean, there are groups that use terrorism as a tactic, and Hamas did. And I do not support Hamas. I could argue that it's a theocratic also, like I think the Israelis, the Messianic Israelis are theocratic as well.
Let's talk about how she says Hamas isn't a terrorist group, just that they are using terror as a tactic. Now imagine that logic anywhere else. He's not a murderer, he just uses murder as a tactic. Good luck floating that in a courtroom, though maybe she's actually tried considering she is a lawyer. Meet Renee Steinhagen, the executive director of New Jersey Appleseed, a pro bono group which performs legal advocacy for a number of left-wing causes, such as securing free family care for illegal immigrants. Renee is associated with the group called Al-Haq, who has very close ties to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, a terrorist group designated by the United States. The general director of Al-Haq, Shawan Jabrin, is the link to the PFLP, because in 2008 the Supreme Court reviewed classified intelligence material showing that he was a senior activist for the PFLP. When Renee is not defending the so-called resistance in the courtroom, she's professionally protesting for it. Here she is chained to the White House. They're wearing "Not in Our Name" t-shirts. Now that can just be bought on JVP's website for $12.95. A reminder that you don't have to be Jewish to be wearing this t-shirt. Anyone can buy it. Here's Renee protesting against the anti-Semitism bill. Here she is again upset about the amount of money Doge is saving the taxpayer. Renee wrote an open letter to both the US government and the Israel government representing anti-Zionist Jewish feminists. Because why not just add feminist to whatever you represent? Now, right after October 7th, JVP produced a press release blaming the violence on oppression from the US and Israel, deflecting any culpability for the terrorists involved. At Duke University, for example, JVP celebrated Hamas terrorists as an axis of resistance and stated that they are praying for the death of the terrorist Zionist regime soon. In 2017, JVP hosted Razmia Odeh at their biannual conference as a speaker. Razmia in 1969 was arrested by Israeli forces and confessed to planting 2 bombs on behalf of the PFLP, which killed multiple young students on the way to a field trip and injured 9 others. Odeh was later released in a prisoner exchange with the PFLP. Now that's who JVP chooses to honor, which they've been on record for saying they don't regret. Now JVP's issues stretch further than openly supporting terrorism. The organization had to pay a settlement in January 2025 for over $670,000 according to the DC U.S. Attorney's Office for defrauding the U.S. federal coronavirus financial loans program. There is so much waste, fraud, and corruption within JVP that I'm making a full video on them, so like this video and subscribe to make sure that that shows up on your home screen.
I'm not going to stand here and support Hamas.
Okay.
I'm not going to support what they did on October 7th. I think historically one has to look at why October 7th happened. And Israel has to look at itself and its policies.
I agree.
Ever since I think the real change happened in '83. I think the country has changed. The population has changed, and I do believe it's
when you left.
Well, Begin Begin came to power.
Right.
And then I think the real change happened when Rabin was killed.
Yes. Okay.
And I am somebody who does believe that Israel now is a genocidal society.
How do people get involved with JVP? Like, are they holding weekly events? Like, I see the shirts much more now than I used to. So how do people get involved?
Well, JVP has existed a long time. I think
Right.
October 7th has the numbers of people that have
Yeah.
joined JVP. JVP is organized on a national level, and then it has chapters, and it has what we call pods. New York City is a major
Yeah.
chapter and has a large influx of people and has large committees and has been able to pull off the actions that they did. I don't know if you were.
Like in Grand Central and
Yes,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Grand Central State,
Yeah.
all over. I lived in Manhattan most of my life. I am now in Jersey, and we're a pod in northern New Jersey.
Yeah, cool.
It's a different generational of people. It's
Yeah.
older people, long-term anti-Zionist Jews. And but we organize more so with other allied people in the Palestinian solidarity
So you're seeing
movement.
it grow. You're seeing more anti-Zionist Jews.
Well, we had an annual meeting in Baltimore, and it had 2,000 Jews, and I can tell you
Amazing.
that it was the number of young people that have come to the organization. The organization has older people, but I don't think that's the new attraction.
But there's a lot of young people now.
They're attracting the young people. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The older people were in JVP.
Right.
The anti-Zionist elders, as we're called. I was
Right.
one of the women who chained herself to the fence back in December 2023. And I looked around and I said,
Wait, I realize what a bullshit artist you are.
Okay,
Put
easy,
that in your
easy,
video.
easy.
I'm not going to attack him. I'd attack you first because I'd be that stupid.
Take it easy.
Just like
Take
Israel
it easy.
can't beat Hamas
Take it
because
easy.
Hamas
Take
beat
it easy.
Israel.
Take it
You're
easy.
so smart,
Take
Nate.
it easy.
Good to see
Take
you
it
again.
easy.
What's
What
your
the fuck is your
job?
problem?
He's scared of me.
This dude's attacking me. What? He's just a freak show. I don't know. He's just
Protect him. Make sure you protect him.
sorry.
I know.
Crazy.
Protect him. Protect him.
I'll let you go.
He's the one you gotta protect. Don't get me out of here. Don't kidnap me. Please don't drop a bomb on my home. All right. Thank you, officer. Do me a favor. Don't follow me.
I'm not gonna.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do what you gotta do. Don't antagonize him. I don't need.
I didn't do anything.
Okay. I'm just asking. That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a protest.
Wait. So
You're filming them? Were you filming them?
I was doing an interview, but so the response is that I antagonized him. I was just doing an interview.
We don't know what happened. We
Okay.
don't know what happened.
I know, but that was like
We were facing this way.
They were facing me. You can clearly see that when he charged at me, that the police here saw it. Luckily, my security guard prevented things from escalating any further. As for the guy who came at us, his name is Jack DePalma, and he's a radical, violent leftist. Jack DePalma is a retired teacher of 30 years, board member of the Science Council of New York, and New York City Department of Education employee who also currently tutors children in New York. Jack has spent nearly his entire adult life supported by the American taxpayer, with his New York City education position earning him a cushy six-figure income all the way back in 2010. Jack is an avid promoter of leftist ideologies. Here's his protester portfolio that goes way back, by the way. Here he is at a 2014 climate change protest in New York City. Here again at an Occupy Wall Street demonstration, and again at a voting law protest outside the UN. And he came back for another Occupy Wall Street protest, because why not? More recently, you can see him yelling and screaming at a protest in one of my previous videos, where I actually interviewed him, or at least tried to before he flew off the handle. Now it's funny because he called me a bullshit artist, but all I did was let him talk. And the protesting for Jack is just the beginning, because he's also the community board chair of WBAI, a leftist political radio station run by Pacifica Network. Jack organizes a speaker series for WBAI town halls, including on topics such as stopping the systemic removal of people of color. WBAI is a network which is under FCC investigation as recently as last year because they had major financial violations and outrageous programming, in the words of our own government. Perhaps some of his outrageous programming the FCC is referring to is that the WBAI includes the Gays Against Guns show, a program Jack identifies as one of his favorite listens, as he believes guns are the biggest issue that we could turn into a massive issue in New York City. The station has lost over $12 million in federal taxpayer funding over the last decade due to such fraud and abuse, much of which occurring at the same time Jack has been serving in leadership roles. Why were we giving them that amount of money in the first place? Who knows? Now, Jack advocates, however, that WBAI should try to regain these funds to save money, because why not continue to waste taxpayer dollars on his fraudulent and failing propaganda station? Now, Jack has much further questionable aspects on his background, by the way, such as his involvement with the Reagan Youth, a self-proclaimed anarcho-punk band from New York. The band's name is a play on Hitler Youth, which they say is a comparison of Republicans to Nazis. Clearly, Jack spent his 30 years as a teacher positively impacting the lives of students, because this Hitler Youth-inspired band cites Jack as fundamental to their founding, claiming that when they were his students in high school, he was heavily involved in their lives, bringing them to shows and guiding them through show business. More strangely, perhaps, is the fact that the band states that Jack regularly took them out to get hot dogs at 4 a.m., which seems like highly, highly questionable student-teacher activity.
Good shit, brother. I like your shit. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah,
I just rolled through randomly. I'm visiting from Chicago, and I was like, I've seen a couple of your clips pop up. I was like, it's cool. He's like somebody relatable, our age, that I'll trust this man over whatever else I see out there. So
I appreciate it.
I just wanted to come by one more time. Like, this is who I thought it was.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate
Yes, sir.
it.
All right, guys. Bye. It is so awesome to meet you guys in person, and it's an honor to hear that you watch the channel to really know what's going on, because that's what I'm trying very, very hard to do. Now, I'll tell you a few more important parts real quick about this protest that I didn't get a chance to share yet. The amount of self-hating Jews was more than I had seen at any other protest in the past. I'm talking about kippas with keffeyehs, more Jewish voices for peace, one of which was also a teacher, by the way. I'll play a small clip of walking up to these women and watch how I slip up by accident and say the country of the necklace that she's wearing. One little mistake. I might have actually had this interview if it wasn't for this.
What are you writing for? Because
I have
a lot of spies around.
No, I'm not a spy. I have a YouTube channel, and I have an Instagram where I just upload my interviews around New York City. And I'm seeing the Jewish t-shirts. I'm Jewish too, so I just want to know what the community is saying.
It's up to you.
Is that okay?
Up to you.
I noticed the Israel necklace. I think a lot of people just want to know. Oh, excuse me, Palestine.
This is Gaza.
Yeah. You guys don't want to say anything? Amazing.
Someone else wrote.
So you can clearly see that these self-hating Jews are denying the existence of Israel, the very people that are fighting Hamas, who want to eliminate every non-Muslim in the world, including them. Hamas won't care if you're a Jew who supports them or not. The people who were targeted on October 7th were the most pro-Palestine Jews in the world. Now, this protest had Khalil and other major figures in the movement speaking. Thousands of people came to honor a journalist, and there was no mention of how an Al Jazeera journalist was holding hostages in Gaza before they were rescued. Thank you for watching this episode of The Nate Friedman Show, and on your screen is our previous episode where we exposed 2 more professional protesters, one of which is also a teacher. I'll see you there.
All right. That's great, but I don't want to do an interview. Thank you very much.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. And please go to the description and subscribe his channel too. It's a very complete informational channel. And people say he was lying and stuff, because they don't know. People, the TDS or left hearts, they jump on the conclusion because it's easy. They don't need to think. They don't need to process. So that's what happened. And when people start politics, they triggered by their emotion. Nobody will go into the politics just for the sake of it, because the most boring thing in the world is politics and religion, and people would rather go, I think, some other profession instead of politics. And once they start the emotion, many Democrats look at their presentation, their speech. They try to stimulate your anger, because that is the easiest emotion to trigger, especially for many young people. So that's how they start. Mao using the same tactic too. So needs to be hopefully 2,000. Wow, thank you very much. 2,000. Oh, I thought I'm not going to get 2,000 today. Oh, thank you. Because every 2,000 subscriber, I will do a surprise. And oh, okay. Now I thought I'm about to finish. Okay. See, my channel is not making any money at this moment. Okay, hopefully one day I can make money in YouTube. That's my goal. Be a successful YouTuber. That's most YouTubers' goal. How it goes along the way is different story, and I'm still hoping to be successful here. But I still appreciate every subscriber, because it is not easy. It is difficult. And then, so I'm being so to show my appreciation. That's why every 1,000 subscriber, I will do a surprise. And today's surprise, I will show you later. I will tell you later what kind of surprise I will do. I did last 1,000. I did another surprise. Well, I really appreciate. I appreciate all your comment. Trump, yes, yeah. What the hell with the head? Your accent is immediate deportation. See, I said, I told you, the Democrat, the left, the racists. Okay, look at the comment. They are racist. They judge people by appear. They judge people by because of their head, because their accent. Oh, okay. Well, I'm greedy. To be honest, I want to make more money. The more money I can make, the more I can give. I'm angry. Yes, you're right. Oh, you're pretty good. Yeah, I'm an angry type of person. I'm so angry because I see a lot of fake news get more, so many subscribers. A lot of fake news, they got more viewer. So I do feel kind of angry about that. That's why I stay in YouTube. Many people been telling me to go do it on Rumble, but I think Rumble is most people are conservative and right, and so well, I say, and many this channel is intentionally for Cantonese audience, and somehow because there's a lot of English speaking audience come over, and I even have different countries, yeah, watching. And then so that's why I speak English. No, I don't speak English, I speak Chinglish. Now you happy? That guy, the comment, that guy, now you happy? I think he left. He just say something and left. Yeah, and yeah. I'm appreciate. I see some return viewer. I think Father AFF was here before. Julian, I think you're new. We refuse to rent to black in. Thanks for Julian. Thanks for your rumor. Thanks for your rumor. Okay. You bet I love the CCB. What's this guy? Are you a real person? Bandit 91? Bandit 91. Bandit 91. You don't know me. See? A lot of people are so uneducated. Okay, I can show you. Very simple observation I'm going to show you. Simple observation. Okay. Okay. Let me stop this. I'll show you a simple observation. Then you know I'm not for CCP. But many people didn't know, I guess. You see the word Hong Kong here? I have at the top of Hong Kong. This character is prohibited by Hong Kong government. I have sticker. No? You can see it. Can you see? Yeah. Okay. Hong Kong. See? But why is it prohibited? Because cannot reverse it. If this way reversed it. Yeah, this way is good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's right. And this means add oil. Cheers. Cheer for Hong Kong. And the CCP didn't like it. And that's why it's prohibited in Hong Kong. All because the Hong Kong, creative Hong Konger, they make this, the word Hong Kong, but flip it. Yeah, and flip it into this way. Cheers. Add oil, but actually the meaning is cheers. Cheer for Hong Kong. And the CCP didn't like it. And the Hong Kong government, Hong Kong CCP, the Hong Kong Commie, I would say, the Hong Kong Commie, they say, no, you guys cannot use this character anymore. So there's a lot of small thing, a lot of observation require, and a lot of thinking require. So well, I hope you guys can enjoy and know, get educated. And of course, I'm not expert on everything, okay? But that's why I just share this video, share different videos, share Trump's speech. You guys can decide. Free country. We just want to keep this as free country, okay? Yeah. So I don't know what that means in Hebrew. Okay. So Benedict 91, I think you left again, just like the other guy, just buy something and leave. Okay. Yeah, also I explain, so people will know about Hong Kong also, and that's why I'm a advocate for Hong Konger, because I'm a Hong Konger. Okay. So everything I do, American first, and then Hong Kong. Okay. Let me see, what's the other question? You don't know much, but you're pushing it. I don't know much, and you don't even know what you're talking about. Well, what am I pushing? It's not pushing. It's called sharing. Okay. I share my something I agree with, and people can decide. And it's not called pushing. What's pushing? CCP is pushing. CCP is pushing people to do watch, what to watch, and what to not watch. Adam Schiff banned a lot of information, and because they don't want us to see. The left media, they are pushing. See, we call them fake news. That's pushing. Okay. So this is also some kind of concept. It's not just a perspective. Some people will say, oh, you guys have just different perspective. If both are telling the truth, that is different perspective. But one side is lying. That is not perspective. That's not the issue of perspective. So I bring this perspective to let people know about this guy. Pay David Chong. He's paid. He get paid to do all those protests. And who's behind it? People's Forum. Who's People's Forum? George Soros. See? This is something, if you want to participate, next time if you want to participate in a protest, you got to know what is a real agenda behind all those protests. They want to destroy America. Okay? Okay, if you are not American, well, I have nothing to say to you. Because you're not American. Your kid, your grandkid is not going to live in America. Your kid and grandkid probably, if you are from some other country, or whatever country is, you know, so it's different. But as American, as a Californian, we're suffering high gas price. We're suffering a dictatorship, you know, Democrat dictatorship here. We don't have looks like it's a separation of power, but it's not. Okay. And they are trying to redistrict, so make sure we have the Republican has less voice. See, so how you going to see if you're a Californian, okay? If you're a Californian, then you will know, okay, what we are facing. But if you're not here, you just listen to the fake news, then you have no idea. So it's very simple, okay? And I appreciate all your comment, and I'm going to appreciate 2,000. Okay, I'm going to show the surprise. Let me see. Okay. And where is it? Where is it? The surprise. Oh, okay. Here. Oh, okay. Okay. Let me tell people about this too. Many people have been message me about they complaining about my video has advertisement and blah blah blah. You know, my source of doing this, hopefully source of income, is from part of source of income is from YouTube advertising. Okay, so if you don't like watching advertising, I think it's only $14 a month. I think it's very reasonable, and you can become a premium member on YouTube, and you can avoid all advertise. That's why when I show the video, it's supposed to have advertisement because of the premium. I'm using the premium, so just keep going. I don't have to stop at certain point and click skip. So if you guys, you know, hey, still it's free country, but I think it's pretty good feature, and also pretty good. I didn't know that $14 can give me such a convenience, but now I find out, oh, really cool. And also, this is the, okay, let me see. Okay, this is the buymecoffee.com. Nate Fryman. This is his account. So the surprise I'm having is I'm going to donate $100. Last time I donated $100 to You Need Love Care organization, because they are helping those Down syndrome children, helping Down syndrome children to you know, yeah, they are not medical, they are like more like bringing out to playground, to theme park, and they need money. So I donate $100 because last time I got 1,000. The first 1,000 I donated $100. So this time I well, it's a courtesy because I used a late 5 months video, and I think I subscribe his channel too. But I think we will help him a lot, so he can continue his great work, and hopefully more people will subscribe his channel. And because I'm too old to do things like what he's doing. I cannot like run around. Also, I have to hire a security and all those things. I'm not good. I cannot deal with that anymore. But this young man, I'm happy. I'm glad. I kind of like his work, and the way he present, for the interview, I think it's pretty good, pretty professional. So, well, I decide I'm going to help him out from this 2000. I don't make money from YouTube. I barely make it myself. Yeah, but I think at the beginning of the video I already explained. I really appreciate everyone, and I really appreciate God. Give me a chance and give me all of a sudden, I know how to get subscriber. All of a sudden, this is the format. I get to know many people, many good people. I see many good people. Yeah. Give the guy a break. Don't criticize him. Make it feel though. Yeah, we all trying to make a living. Thank you, Julian. Yeah, everyone is trying to make a living. It's just how are we going to make a living? So yeah, I like America, just not the BS of. Yeah, the California has we within our groups we have we call our state California. Yeah, and I know how I'm greedy. I know I want more money. So I know the more money, so I can give out more. That's the whole concept. A lot of people think people are greedy. See, BLM chairman, remember them? They're so greedy, but they didn't give the money back to the black community. They move out. They bought $1 million mansion in the white people community. See, I don't think there is a right intention. Okay, if he really care about the black community, and he should invest. He make so much $1 million. He make so much money. Invest back into the black community. See, a lot of people got destroyed. A lot of store, a lot of shop got destroyed because the BLM protests. So if she really cares about this is a lesson we all have to learn. So if he really cares, he should put the money back in the community. For me, whatever money I make, I give it back. Of course, I still have to pay rent, food, everything, like snack, the snack. So this is the way. Give it back. Yeah, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate God give me this opportunity. Somehow I want to quit for so long, so many times. I want to quit because my kid, it drains me out. Spend so much time. See, look for a video, take some time. Watching a video, take some time before I put it out for share. And yeah, and I appreciate everyone. TB Blue, at Blue. I'm sure you don't. It's crazy there. Okay. I like America. It's not the be. Oh, thank you, Blue. Yeah, the America is. Yeah, Florida is great. To me, Florida is the heaven. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do. Don't call it greed. There's so many negative. Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you, TB. Yeah, my friend always say I always pick the negative word. I don't know, maybe because I raised by negative parents, Chinese parents. Hey, just like you remember the Jimmy comedian. Hey, all Chinese parents are like the old school parents. Yeah, so maybe that's why I always use those negative words. My friend always tells me, hey, pick some positive word. You know, people may enjoy more on my channel. uh, oh, blue. Let me guess. Blue slime. Well, it's hard to see. It's just a picture. Unless maybe I go to the channel. Yeah. Present your case. Yeah. Present your case. Yeah, and actually there's another great video from late, you know, and I really hope people can start go to my description and click to subscribe to his channel. I think that would be helpful. We want more this kind of information to get it out, let people know those paid protester. I think it's very funny, you know, people's fault. He make 75K a year for organizing those protests. You know, I think it's a pretty good job. You know, yeah. The problem is we don't see. I don't know why we don't have people do that. I want to organize some fundraising for candidates, and even I have to give up so much money. Everything is about money. It's really hard not to earn money, you know. But and I've been 2019 since 2019 I start going out. I did a lot of video interview like him. It's very stressed because you always have to worry about if you get hit by Antifa, and people say Antifa is a good guy. Antifa hit people. You know, they're very violent. You know, they spray paint the buildings, and when I go to record some BLM protests in Los Angeles, they come over and make sure I don't point the camera anywhere else. Only point at the protests, because Antifa was burning the trash, painting, spray paint the buildings, and they don't want me to film them. And they even come over and say if I film them again, they're going to break my camera. So that's how violent they are, and I don't have security. I'm just by myself. So I just have to listen to them. That is the truth. That's my experience. But if you don't believe my experience, and that is your choice too. And that's why I appreciate late doing that, young man, you know. So okay, and because I wish because I don't want to reveal my personal credit card number. This is the place. I will complete. Yeah, just like last time. I will complete and pay him, and pay him the $100 support 100. But it will change support pay with. You see, I have to pay with. So I don't want people to see my see. I have to put this in, so I have to put that in and then pay him. And I really appreciate. Can Blue just tell us where you are? I will give you a clue. It's in Asia. Okay, in Asia. Which part of Asia? Asia is pretty big. Asia. Yeah. Cold. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Blue. Philippines. Somewhere has water. Blue, cold. Blue and cold. North Korea. Cold, not India. India is hot. Cold. Asia and cold. North Korea. Japan. Oh, Japan. Japan. Okay, let me. Did someone write Japan already? Japan. See, let me see. Indonesia, Russia, Malaysia. Okay. Japan. Somewhere, yeah, no. China. No. China, someplace cold, someplace hot. But I think it's Japan. Hey, Blue, is it Japan? Don't tell me you. But yeah, because you say warmer, not too cold. North Korea is too cold. Korea cold. He disappeared. He left. Japan is cold means far, and hot means closer. Means closer. Okay. Japan is still cold. Okay. So Taiwan. Taiwan, Asia. Oh, Iran. Oh no, Iran. Taiwan is not China, so yeah, so cold. Oh, yeah, it's hard to say. Okay, very warm. Thank you very much. I think we have enough fun, and I appreciate everyone. Okay, appreciate. Should I wait for Blue to give out the answer, and so we can end the stream, end the live stream, or people want to stick around a little longer? It depends how many people. It's only 99 people here. Yeah, only 99 people here. But since Blue and TB having a conversation, I think it's mean to it's mean. It's not nice to just stop. Yeah. Well, since they're still talking, maybe I want another. I hope late don't mind.
These two protesters recognize me and are telling people not to speak with me. Let's go talk to them and then expose them. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show. I saw you might be talking about what we're doing. Can I talk to you guys?
No, sorry.
I saw you were talking to each other about what I do, right?
Everything we can do
Were you?
to stop this genocide.
Speak your mind. You're gonna walk away. I mean, I'm down to stand here. Because you were clearly talking about me, so I want to know what you were saying because I'm curious.
Nothing.
Most people just walk away, but you're just gonna stand here? That's cool. Palestinian Youth Movement. Tell me about that. You don't want to say what company you work with? How much are you paid to be here? How much are you paid to be here?
Let's welcome our next speaker, Rabbi Abby from JVP.
Liven up, guys. It's a protest. You guys look so down. I mean, this is great. You guys got a good turnout here. If you've ever gone past an anti-West protest in New York City, you have probably seen these two people, and that's because they aren't just any professional protesters. If these protest organizations were an army, they would be the officers. So let's start with her. Meet Mette Lulu von Kohl. This is her shouting lines from her phone at a Palestine protest. She is a mixed-race queer femme born to a Lebanese-Palestinian mother and Danish father. She says that she is currently living on the unceded land of the Lenape people, now colonized as New York City. Let's look at her portfolio, shall we? This is Mette again reading from her phone. You'd think that she'd have her lines memorized by now because she is an actor after all. She uses her performance to end the occupation of Palestine. On her CV, she shares that she got a BA in theater with a concentration in human rights, gender sexuality studies, and Africana studies. Now, we've seen this before because what better way for these organizations to recruit protest leaders than hiring out-of-work actors? The performance she was in here was a part of a string of performances titled Decolonially Queer. While you try to figure out what that even means, you can only imagine how well it would go in Gaza. Here's her again as one of the hired marchers at Columbia, which makes sense because the People's Forum organized that march. Remember that they used the People's Forum offices as a de facto HQ to rally up to 100 protesters to then storm Columbia, and the protest organizations want you to believe that they were all Columbia students. Just to be absolutely clear, this is Mette's LinkedIn. She didn't go to Columbia. In fact, she finished her master's in London 5 years before these protests even started. You will rarely see her carrying a sign, and that's because the leaders don't do that. Here she is again, waiting for her turn at the mic. This is when things seriously heat up. By the end, you'll realize your tax dollars are going to this woman, and in a way that will make your heart tremble. In a post by Anti-Capitalism for Artists, we see that Mette hosted a talk representing the Palestine Youth Movement. We also see their banner right in front of her speaking at this protest. Now, the PYM is one of the shadiest, most sinister movements operating inside America. They want to destroy the fabric of this country, and they're a lot further along than you might think. The PYM has a scholarship named after a PFLP spokesperson named Ghassan Kanafani. The PFLP, or the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, is designated as a terror organization by the United States and just about every country in the West because they've killed many Americans, took part in the attacks on October 7th, and have organized many suicide bombings in the Middle East. PFLP returns their support to the Palestine Youth Movement per their own documents, and now the PFLP is coming out of the shadows in America, literally, as I interviewed one of them right here in New York in the last video. Now remember Ghassan, the PFLP spokesperson who the PYM made a scholarship after. Well, this was his response to the idea of peace with Israel.
Why not just talk?
Talk to whom?
Talk to the Israeli leaders.
That's kind of conversation between the sword and the neck, you mean?
Well, if there were no swords and no guns in the room, you could still talk.
No.
In April, the PYM alongside the People's Forum posted clips on their Instagram of a PFLP member, Wassam Rafidi, and deceased terrorist Walid Daka, who have claimed that the US is the head of the snake. In one of the People's Forum classes, they write, "In this session, we will study the works of two such revolutionaries, Ghassan Kanafani and Walid Daka." Now, Walid commanded a PFLP-affiliated group that abducted and killed an Israeli soldier. That's what the People's Forum wants our youth to worship. Since the 7th, the PYM has co-sponsored 450 anti-West rallies in the United States. Many of their rallies have taken place in Dearborn, Michigan, and at one of those rallies, they called for the death of America. Al-Quds, one of PYM's partners, hosted the largest anti-West rally in Toronto, showcasing a swastika interlaced with the Star of David. Now, Canada will be recognizing Palestine as a state, so what they're doing is working. PYM leaders like Nadia Tanous have called for the destruction of the West by saying things like, strike at the heart of the empire.
And this panel, y'all, is talking about what is next. To strike at the heart of empire.
That's clearly talking about America. Or Mohammed Nabulsi, another leader in PYM, posting a photo of two young boys side by side with terrorists. And his wife, Lina Asi, another leader of PYM, called the photo 11 out of 10 parenting. Here is the wedding of these two terror supporters that are facilitating the protests in your cities. Now, sometimes they even go in person together. Lina Asi has a history of hatred toward Western values. She works as an advocacy manager for Palestine Legal. Now, Palestine Legal is a legal aid organization supporting the movement for Palestinian freedom in the U.S., and they've received over 2,000 requests for legal support just last year. Now, that is all code for when these guys get arrested at protests they call Lena. She worked on passing a boycott, divest, and sanction resolution at McMaster University and mobilized over 600 students. She practices BDS like it's a religion, according to her. She's also dressed up like the first female Palestinian hijacker, Layla Khalid, for Halloween. Layla is a Palestinian terrorist and activist associated with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, who was released in a prisoner exchange for kidnapped innocent civilians that members of her group took hostage. That's who she chooses to dress up as. And remember, Lena is not only someone our youth spends a lot of time with, but she's working as an advocate at that law firm. And guess who funds Palestine Legal? None other than George Soros through the Tide Center. Now, George Soros has given millions of dollars to the Tide Center. And now not only is George Soros paying for these violent protesters' legal bills, but it's likely that you have too. Because get this, the Tide Center administered $24.5 million in USAID grants. Now, Tides claims they didn't use the money for domestic causes, but there's no proof of that. There is, however, proof that they did get your money. If we look at the funding of PYM, they used to have Westpac as their fiscal sponsor. We've done a whole thing on Westpac in the last video where they've sponsored 15 anti-West groups, including the Palestine Youth Movement. George Soros gives Westpac money and then it gets distributed to a variety of NGOs that hate our country. However, after October 7th, Westpac ran into a lot of lawsuits, and by January 2025, they were warning supporters that they were in, quote, dire fiscal trouble. So it was time for PYM to look for a new fiscal sponsor. They landed on an NGO called Honor the Earth, who specializes in dismantling settler colonialism and racial capitalism. Thanks to the leadership overlap of PYM and Honor the Earth, the handoff came fast, because Nadia Tanous is both a PYM organizer and an Honor the Earth deputy director. So here's the new money stream. PYM now takes online gifts via goodbricks.org, where the donation page explicitly notes the partnership and even provides instructions to send checks payable to Honor the Earth. That's the pipeline replacing Westpac's role. Now, in a minute, you will see the massive consequences of all of this. So the spokesperson for the PYM chapter in Montreal, Quebec, Elias Ayub, starts his morning by saying death to America and Israel. He even asked Trudeau for Canada to genocide Israel. This is who leads the marches. This is what they truly want. And in the meantime, he's just working as a UX designer at a company in Canada. PYM feels comfortable welcoming young men dressed as terrorists at their rallies. And I've asked them questions, but they're not a very talkative bunch.
Yo, I like the headband. What's that headband? I know who you are. I'm not Who am I? I know you. Tell me about what you support.
Now, the most disgusting thing about all this is that the founder of the Palestine Youth Movement is an assistant professor at UCLA. Now, would you want her teaching your children? Even if she isn't, she's still getting your tax money. The Trump administration, however, in a move never been done before by a US president, has tried freezing the funds for colleges that support terror. UCLA being one where they tried to freeze the funding of up to $584 million because they allowed Jewish students to be blocked from going to class.
You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off, not by the security guard, but by you two. You three. Oh, look, they're making their burger while I'm going this way. Excuse me. This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Why can't they go? Will you let me go in? This could be over in a second. Just let me and my friends go in to class.
We're not engaging with that.
Then you can move.
Now, not to mention having professors compare Israel to Nazis. We'll get back to our investigation in a second, but did you guys see that an October 7th documentary was canceled at the Toronto Film Festival because they didn't credit Hamas for the footage they used? That actually happened. The left called it a nuanced legal and security issue, while the right called it appalling to credit a terror organization for atrocities that they filmed. Now, the backlash was so severe that the film festival reinstated it, but it truly feels like you're reading two different pieces of news about the same story these days, and that's why before going out to film, it's crucial I understand what both sides are thinking so I can ask great questions. Now, the easiest way to do that for me is to read Ground News. It's an app and website where they aggregate the news so I don't have to click on each individual site to see what's really going on. If you want to see how that person in your life sees news the opposite way that you do, then the Ground News blind spot feed will do just that. It doesn't just show you what's trending, it expresses what each side is choosing not to cover. If you truly want to stay informed about what's happening around the world or how different people are reacting to it, then check out Ground News. It's one of the best ways you can support this channel, and they're such a perfect match for us that you can get 40% off the same plan that I personally use, which is the Vantage plan. Just head to ground.news/Friedman or scan the QR code to help us cover security costs for these videos and experience the news from a whole new perspective. So the founder of PYM is still teaching at UCLA with her scholarly interests that include Palestine, critical refugee studies, and the radicalization of Arab Muslim communities in the US. Now, even with all that, she has time to study third world feminism. As of recording this, a judge has ordered to restore UCLA's federal funding. This obsession of indoctrinating our youth to hate the West is growing like wildfire because you know who else is shaping the American youth? Mete. She teaches at the City University of New York. She's been trying to brainwash our young children ever since she got out of school. In 2015, she designed and facilitated after-school theater programs for high schoolers employing social justice and culturally responsive pedagogy. Urban Arts, the organization, is a tax-funded NGO in New York City. When she was in London, she campaigned for asylum seekers, contributing to Mohammed being the #1 baby name in the UK. At the Sadie Nash Leadership Project, she was an educator for women and gender-expansive youth of color. Her responsibilities included teaching a course titled Remapping the Body, and she met with students one-on-one. The students at this leadership project are as young as 11 years old, and the leadership project receives government grants. So you're paying for that. She then became a contractor for the Harlem School of Arts. Then in the summertime, she goes back to teaching gender non-conforming youth. Now it's gender non-conforming, not gender expansive. And finally, for the last 4 years, she's been working at the Research Foundation for the City University of New York. Everywhere you look about Mete, she is trying to work with young kids to teach them about gender and social justice. Now imagine your kid in this audience listening to this. Viewer discretion is advised.
Are you ready?
No.
I present to you the Iron Dome. Take it in all its glory. What we have here is the most advanced defense system on the market today. And what makes it so unique is its durability, its flexibility, its response with pinpoint precision, its indestructible ability to act as a barrier, to intercept the enemy, to keep what belongs out, out. Yet the power of the Iron Dome are not simply these technical abilities, although they are to be celebrated. The power of the Iron Dome is manipulation. The power to manipulate the mind.
The Iron Dome saves thousands of innocent lives from terror strikes, and she made fun of it and intimidated destroying it, then for some reason turned it into some topless dance. Do you think America's children should be learning from her? Now let's talk about her teammate, because this is going to be even crazier. Together they are forming a wall and are refusing to speak. Ironic, since this group is always calling for open borders. Meet Tahir Dali. A few of you guys have actually asked me, messaging me to expose him because you've seen him at so many protests. Well, here we go. I saw him in person. Now I'd like to introduce him, but I will just let the founder of the People's Forum do that for me. Manolo dos Santos, who has been arrested multiple times for being a violent protester and spent many years in Cuba meeting with the president of Cuba.
Thank you again to the New York Society for Ethical Culture. Again, we're honored to be here. We would now like to welcome to the stage a leader of our movement, an organizer with the Palestinian Youth Movement, who for the last 18 months, it's more likely that you saw him on the streets than at home, not just leading us at the front of protests, but engaging us in analysis, teaching in our spaces, and often reminding us about why we fight. I welcome Tahir Dali.
Just to piggyback on Manolo's points, this guy truly is at just about every protest, which is why I was hoping to actually have a conversation with him. Here he is speaking on the mic with his "Gaza is the graveyard of the occupier" shirt, a shirt that PYM gives out to their members. This propaganda shirt also comes in whites. Tahir, just like I saw him at the protests that I went to organized by the People's Forum, he's often signaling to other protesters. Here he is doing that at Times Square and again at the City College of New York's encampments. He graduated from NYU though, so further proof that these college campus uprisings were anything but authentic. They were calculated, and Student Justice for Palestine, for example, already had a toolkit on October 8th on how to protest. Here he is again, and you might recognize the guy behind him. That's Mustafa Ali. We exposed him for being a paid protester in a previous video, and he was arrested at Columbia, yet no record of him actually being a student there. Tahir is often stationed in Times Square and college campuses. Here you see him in the middle of the crowd where he can quietly escalate things, and just look at how violent that crowd is. Out of Tahir's entire, very vast professional protester portfolio, perhaps this photo will strike you the most. Why is Tahir one of the handful of people standing behind Mahmoud Khalil, this symbol of the violent anti-West protests we've seen all across the country? Khalil has recently said that it felt frightening that we had to reach this moment in the Palestinian struggle. We couldn't avoid such a moment. Khalil was referring to October 7th.
To me, it felt frightening that we had to reach this moment in the Palestinian struggle.
This man is not a citizen who has just said that it is frightening that we, as in Hamas, had to rape and burn children alive, that we, Hamas, couldn't avoid doing that. The messaging of his shirt is subtle but important. It's a chain breaking, and the people facilitating most of these resources for the protests are the People's Forum. The People's Forum's whole mission is to teach revolutionary theory to young people. Tahir even teaches at their revolutionary summer school, so that his students rise up against capitalism and try to destroy the West. Most of the classes at the People's Forum are not about Zionism. They're about Marxism or socialism, and when you walk into their bookstore, you see books all about revolution. Roy Neville Singham, who I'm sure you know by now, a billionaire Marxist living in China, funds the People's Forum. He sold his IT consulting business for $785 million and now gives over $20 million to the People's Forum. He also just so happens to be married to Jody Evans of Code Pink, that group that's always harassing congressmen in the Capitol cafeteria.
Cruz, Israel is committing genocide. You know, they're starving children. you really should stop cheering for the terrorists.
Now, it's difficult to believe that Roy and his wife didn't know about October 7th when just a day after they had young people storming the streets showing Israel as the oppressor while innocent Israelis were still being gunned down. Now back to Tahar, you can see him wearing that same shirt Khalil was as he speaks to young people. So who is Tahar really? He graduated NYU with a degree in mathematics in 2016. He's a Palestinian American and member of Brooklyn's Arab community, and is interested in teaching Arabic in the New York City public school system. As far as I can tell, that didn't happen. He went on to join the Communication Workers of America, which is the first major national union to call upon the US to recognize Palestine as a state. Tahar worked at Verizon and now T-Mobile. Now, it's very possible that the reason he's behind Khalil is because he helped rally support from his union to use union resources for the protest, or maybe it's just because he can pronounce his name so well.
Mahmoud Khalil's freedom, and this is what Mahmoud Khalil and the movement.
In Tahar's speech, he urges the crowd to join all the scheduled marches they have planned across the country. He doesn't just criticize Israel, but the US for systemically planning a genocide against Gaza at every level. This is the playbook right before you. First you blame Israel and Zionism, and then you come after America, all while teaching the young people of our country about Marxism. He made many egregious claims in this speech, but the most blatant one being this.
The most conservative estimates indicate that more than 49,000 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed by the United States and Israel's aggression. The real death toll is estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands, much, much higher than that.
Even the Gaza Health Ministry that is run by Hamas doesn't say that it's in the hundreds of thousands. We have people in the United States that are inflating a death toll that is shared by actual terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, there are powerful forces living in our country who are trying to destroy the West. Now, this concludes our video for today, but as always, the investigation is ongoing. If you know anything, write to me. To continue watching our investigations, check out this video where we expose a protest leader being paid $75,000 a year and confront him to his face. I'll see you there.
Thank you. Welcome, Dee. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Well, I'm watching the video. I learned a lot from TB and Blue from the comment. And thank you very much. And appreciate TB and Blue conversation. I enjoyed it very much. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. I learned a lot. And I will end the streaming now, and appreciate all your comment, all your subscribe, and all your like. And I hope everyone can enjoy this long weekend, the Labor Day long weekend, and have some fun, and hopefully can put our mind away for a few days from the politics. So I'm probably not going to do live streaming. Okay, hope everyone can enjoy their free time, and God bless everyone. And please, if you do pray, please continue pray for me so I can have my financial stable. And also besides, there's a lot of projects coming up I have to handle, and those are no money projects. It's just helping the Hong Konger, try to solve some problems for the Hong Konger asylums, Hong Konger. So a lot of stuff going on too. So hopefully, yeah, please pray for me, and pray for my 2 kids and my wife. And thank you very much. See you next time. Bye bye.